That's right. 3 episodes in 1 week. The Hobby with Cage, episode 181. I don't know what the hell I got going on this week, but you got an even deeper Cage today. Deeper tonation, a little more nasally than usually you're used to. So I hope you enjoyed that out there in Spotify and Apple Podcast land. Enjoy. It's for a limited time only until I blow my nose. This very snotty episode of Hobby with Cage brought to you today by Arena Club and Bleaker Trading. Let's get into it. Come on now. Look at the title. Bounty, the quicker hobby picker-upper. I don't know if you noticed this, guys, but I'm trying to add layers to this. I don't want to just talk on here about nonsense and do the same headlines that everybody else does. The news is good for that. 1 minute you get the headlines, right? Everybody else makes the same content. Everybody else does the same stuff. I like to actually give some details to it, People talk about the Philly show. I talk to the people at the Philly show. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of content out there. For some reason, none of them actually talk to the people who run the Philly show. Even I saw Jeff Wilson did a video after mine. Mine came out. A day later, his comes out. And, talking about all the great things they did at the Dallas show. But what about Philly? Well, why don't you ask the guys from Philly what they're doing? It's easy. Send a message. Seriously, it's easy. Send a message. You'll get answers. I try to do that. I do. I don't do it all the time. I got to do better at it. Sometimes you don't have time to do it. Sometimes people don't answer, but I try my best. That way, if there's a hobby story, I don't want to give you the same crap that everybody else is doing. I want to try to actually give you some info. So let's talk today. You guys may remember this. I think it was March of this year, right? Mars. So we're talking about 9 months ago. 9 months ago. Hockey card released. And obviously, this story goes back more than 9 months. This story is a story as old as the most recent chapter of the hobby. It goes back to Babe Ruth, 1 of 1, Lou Gehrig, Drew Jones, Anthony Volpe, MLB debut patch, $150,000. It goes back to Dylan Cruz. It goes back to whatever bounty you can think of. Bounty gate on the LeBron, Durant, Curry triple auto, which has not been pulled yet. Bounty on the Tom Brady 12 out of 50, chrome baseball expos auto. We're going to go back to $1 million bounty set for the Connor Bedard Outburst Gold 1 of 1 Young Guns. So we're going to talk about bounties today. We're going to talk about that card. We're going to talk about other cards. I mean, hell, they released a Metal Universe thing, and there were bounties on Michael Jordan, PMGs. There's just bounties. It's become part of what we do. Recently, I've seen a little bit of a switch from bounties to, let's gift it to the chat, because you got to get more people in the chat and convert those guys. Bounties are more people already in it. Although, obviously, that Skeens MLB patch, the debut patch, which hasn't been pulled yet, that's got a heck of a bounty on it from the Pittsburgh Pirates. But one of the more notorious bounty makers is David Adams' Card World, DA Card World. And let's talk about the bounties for a second. And let's not even get into the good or the bad, because, I've talked about that. It's sort of the new norm, right? A release comes out. You want to get people excited for the release. It used to be you got excited for the release because you talked about who the rookies were in it. And people wanted to open it. People wanted to get the cards. People wanted to pull a card. People wanted to open the product, but that's not enough. You got to generate buzz. You got to generate excitement. Backyard's got to promote the cherry blossoms with a video of Grant in a kimono with cherry blossoms on it. You got to get hype. That's the way this works here, right? Hype cycle, the whole deal, right? And one of the things that people are doing for hype to, to promote is these bounties. So let's talk about the Upper Deck Series 2 hockey that came out in 2024. I think March. Might have come out late February, March. And boxes are sold. In DA card world, they sell a lot of boxes. They sell a lot of wax. That's what they do, right? So you got to generate excitement, you got to generate buzz. So you put out a bounty for the top card, the bounty being $1 million bounty for the one of one outburst gold of Connor Bedard. Box prices go up. Box sales go up. A lot of boxes are sold. It isn't just Dave and Adams that benefit from this. And this happened to be an Upper Deck product. A lot of them are Panini products. A lot of them are Fanatics products. Obviously, the cards sell. There's a buzz about them. But clearly, the breakers get some benefit of it too. Breakers come back and buy more from someone like Dave and Adams or the other, distributors. So they put a bounty out there to sell the product. Plain and simple. But you got to ask yourself, is this card worth $1 million? And if it's not, why would they do it? Right? They're getting the card. I mean, we've seen Blez offer money for Nebulas and stuff like that. But, a lot of them are reasonable offers, reasonable bounties. Some of these seem pretty high. I mean, Lou Gehrig is awesome and all. I'm a Yankee fan, but $150,000 for, a logo fractor, first Bowman, super fractor, retro fractor. That's what it is. I forget the fractor. Sorry, so many fractors these days. The one of one Bowman retro fractor, first Bowman from this year that was released 70 plus years after his Gaudy cards and, 80 years after he started playing ball. If someone offered me $150,000 for it, I'm going to take it. So why would they offer that? Does it make any sense? Well, we talked about the buzz, the sales. They're obviously getting a benefit from that, but it's, it's promotional. And, I bet that they even are able to write some of it off as a promotion. The business is able to probably write some of it as promotional. Here's the thing. It's harder to write off $1 million. But after a while, the value of that bounty becomes less and less. If you are looking for that Connor Bedard, you want to generate buzz around that release. Because, hey, if you don't get the one of one gold outburst, that's $1 million. Well, I mean, if there's $1 million bounty, then what's the out of 10 worth? And what are some of the other ones worth? There's so much money. Let's get the buzz going. People want to open this and rip the boxes. My son and I opened one. I got a Young Guns base card of somebody else. We didn't get any Connor Bedard. We opened hockey and we had to look up who everybody was, but it was a chase. We all got excited because there was $1 million card in the product. It's one way of looking at it. Even though the card might not be worth $1 million, $1 million bounty, $1 million card, everything's got to be worth it. Go ahead. Let's go. But there has to come a time, if this is in, March of 2024, where a lot of the product has been ripped. A lot of the product has been opened and people have moved on to something else. We talked about other, bounties that are out there, Bowman Baseball, bless you, buddy. All kinds of stuff that gets ripped. And while people are still ripping this hockey, trying to find this card, a couple things happen. Number one, Bedard is not selling the way people thought he was going to sell. Is he a player? Sure, fine player. Living up to the hype? He's still young, still remains to be seen, but it's not like he's lighting the record books on fire in his first and second season here. So, Bedard, $1 million bounty. After 3-4 months, people aren't opening as much, and the bounty's not in the news. I mean, hell, I saw that bounty everywhere. You just Google it. It was all over the place. Hockey news. I mean, some of these bounties make ESPN, They're big news. $1 million card, I mean, why wouldn't it be big news? The thing is, the benefit to a DA card world for having a bounty out there really starts to decrease after time. The benefit really is not $1 million. They've got their benefit out of it. Now, are there people out there still trying to break to try to hit that card and hope to collect the bounty? Sure. So something happened. You'll see some news about this. There's other posts about it and you name it. And, a couple people messaged me about it today. It actually looks like it's almost a 2-week-old news story now, week and a half. But on December 9th, David Adams said that that card is no longer an active bounty. It has expired. Quote, this is no longer an active bounty. It has expired. Now, this is where the news stops for most people, right? Wow, what a dick move. Wow. When they announced it, there was no expiration. Okay, let's be fair and do both sides. Some of the bad. When this bounty was announced, it was everywhere. It was on all social channels. It was all over the place, right? It was tweeted out. It was beated out. It was IG'd out. It was everywhere. And not just by David Adams, but by everybody. They got a lot of press out of it, right? Now, they can't control who reposts their stuff. I'm sure I even mentioned it. Probably made my news. There was no similar gigantic announcement about the withdrawal of this bounty or the expiration of this bounty, right? There used to be a page on David Adams that said, like a bounty tracker. I can't seem to find it anymore. Instead, to find what I just read you have to go to their blog and scroll to find their initial post about the $1 million bounty set for Connor Bedard Outburst Gold 1 of 1 Young Guns. And that is on the 4th page of 269 pages of blog posts. And right on the first line, it says update with a couple stars in black and white. December 9th, 2024, this is no longer an active bounty. It has expired. And then it goes on for the regular blog post. So they updated the blog post. And they do that, right? But if I were making a suggestion now to David Adams, when the bounty is announced, if it's going to be something that lasts for 6 months, which is about, this one lasted maybe 7 months, right? Because the initial post is March 4th and went from March 4th to December 9th, right? So March 4th, December 9th, 6 months, 6 months. So if it's March, no, actually that's 12 months. I'm an idiot. 9 months. See, I told you I'm not feeling well. March to December is 9 months. So not 6 months, 9 months. They kept it open for a while. But I would say if it's going to be a 6-month bounty, put that in the original blog post. Put it in all of your posts. Put it everywhere. You know what I mean? Put it wherever you want people to know that there's a countdown to this. Interesting, right? Part of me wants to know why they wouldn't do like a countdown. You know what I mean? Like, hey, get the same kind of run. Get the same, republicize this, right? Nobody's buying this stuff. It's Christmas coming up, the holidays are coming up. Why not put a 10-day countdown or 30-day countdown? Final month of this bounty. Go ahead and buy them now. Maybe it's because the card's not worth $1 million now. I mean, it might not even be a 6-figure card. It probably is. I don't know. If I were making a suggestion, that's what I would say. But here's the funny thing. This is what I'm trying to do now, right? Instead of just, kicking people. I'll still kick people. It's kind of what I do, right? I instead reached out. Their answer, because I asked them questions, was they can't run bounties forever. Right now, they don't have a hard and fast rule, but they typically tend to be 6 months or more. They say that when they end a bounty, they remove the bounty information from the product's description, as well as update the initial blog post about the bounty. So updating the blog post, what I talked about, it seems that if you were going into, and this might be why I didn't see it, if you go into that product on their page, where it used to be, hey, here's what you can get, here's a checklist, here's all that stuff, there was a description of the bounty. Now that part is removed. So there's no additional fanfare to it. There's no announcement. Hey guys, we've passed the 6-month mark, the 9-month mark, whatever it might be. This bounty's done, right? I mean, I get it. You know, I get it. You'd like to think that people, let's talk about on the positive side, right? Because there's some negative there. Let's talk about the positive side. They've got their publicity. They've done what they've done. The box prices went up because of this. They've come down, probably because Bedard hasn't been the player that people thought he was going to be, but the prices have come down. If they announce a 30-day countdown to the bounty, who are they hurting? I would say they're hurting the people who are buying the boxes now who actually want to collect it, because it would necessarily raise the price of the boxes for people who actually want to open it for Christmas. So if I could think of a good thing, a good part of this, not having a countdown clock to inflate the cost is a good thing for people who actually want to buy this, collect it, open it, you name it, because you're saving them some money at the expense of yourselves. I mean, David Adams would get the benefit of the increased price because of this, added flurry of activity. The negative, people have to kind of dig to see this. I can imagine, you posted that on December 9th and you name it. I can imagine if somebody pulled the card now, somebody pulled the card for Christmas, knowing that earlier this year there was $1 million bounty that they read about on ESPN, and they made a whole big deal about it. We got the $1 million bounty, the whole deal. And you guys, at David Adams or anybody who has a bounty, was like, hey, sorry, just check our page. And they're like, what page? Where? Well, check the original blog post from back in May. See how it says it was expired December 9th? Sorry, it expired 2 weeks before you pulled it. Sorry. I don't know how happy I'd be as the person pulling that. And yeah, it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? These bounties are not going anywhere. If they now have expirations, I think it probably would be smart to maybe talk about those expirations ahead of time, just so kind of people know. The negative on that is a card like this, if you said it's expiring December 9th, the month of November, price would go up on the boxes. But that's the nature of the beast. It really is. I don't know. There's my take on it. It was good of them to actually answer. You know what I mean? I appreciate the response, and I think that they, look, they've paid the bounties. I remember, the Volpe. I think Anthony Volpe's a heck of a player. I love him. On the Yankees, he's great. Adds a little speed, a little fire, great defensive player. Doesn't really hit for power. The next Jeter comparisons might be a little optimistic. Maybe more like the next Didi Gregorius. But $150,000 for, his debut, I would have taken that. And David Adams paid it out. So, we're not coming on here and doing a post about, bounties not being paid. When the bounty's there and the card gets hit, it gets paid, and that's why I call bounties the quicker hobby picker upper. It really does generate some interest. And, the headline of $1 million bounty is it's attention grabbing. I mean, it's going to get people buying cards. I don't like hockey, but I open a box like Charlie Bucket. I opened up a Wonka bar hoping the golden ticket was inside of it. It wasn't. I guess I'm not Charlie Bucket. That guy had a golden ticket in his. I'm kind of more Augustus Gloop. Anyway, that's my take. People messaged me on this and wanted to do this. I think if you want to forward this to David Adams, I'll send them a link. I think, going forward, maybe say, we're going to keep a bounty open for 6 months. We're going to keep a bounty open for a year. We're going to keep a bounty open for whatever it is. You know what I mean? And, that way everybody knows up front. Just a suggestion. Who the hell am I? I don't work for them. I don't work for anybody. I am sponsored by Arena Club and by Bleecker Trading, though. So I'm going to throw that one out there at the end of the episode. But yeah, I mean, listen, I try to give both sides of it. I can understand where they're coming from on multiple fronts. I can understand why you can't leave a bounty like this open. I can understand how, they probably want to protect their, the consumer. They want to protect the people who actually wants this, this stuff. And, they don't want to inflate the price on a hockey fan who, wants to just buy a box because it would inflate it. But on the flip side, you want to, it doesn't have to have the same fanfare, right? But I think there was a bounty tracker. Keep that on your site. You know what I mean? Put a link to it. Active bounties. This is how much the bounty is. This is the product it's in, and this is the expiration date. Easy to do, I think. Not a heavy lift, and it would probably, it would look pretty transparent. That's all. There's my take on it, guys. I told them I was going to do an episode. I reached out to them. They gave me a little comment. I worked it in. And I think it's better that way, instead of just, oh, look what they did. Look, they're pulling the rug out. There's no rug pull here. There's no, no one's trying to do anything. No one's trying to pull one over on anybody. It would be silly to think that David Adams or anyone else for that matter is going to come out and sing from the rooftops about expiring a bounty the same way that they come out and talk about a bounty. You know what I mean? Obviously, you want to get more publicity right in the beginning. So loads of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. 3 episodes in 5 days? Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow. We'll just keep them going. Love this hobby. Talk to you guys soon. Happy holidays if I don't speak to you. I'll definitely get on here before Christmas. Talk to you guys.